Welcome to the Late IHP Show with Maria, your lovely 5D mystic. Let us continue talking a little bit about our Oversoul from the 5D mystics experience. So divine feminine here. Divine masculines, we'll have to wait till we get some of them who want to share their experience, or who I get to chit chat with and then, share their experience. And here's where anyone who's a viewer and or a subscriber, you can take my word for it. You don't have to. Obviously, we all know that there are plenty of people who ask questions and they don't trust necessarily subjective experience, which is fair and square, but just saying. So in the meantime, you have a divine feminine, and I have my own divine masculine. So for one, the 5D mystic has mind-heart harmony, which is why we follow our intuition, which is also why we are consistently at peace from here when we're meeting twin flame, flames, soulmates, because here we understand what's happening, and with our left and our right, we're friends. So that inner growth mindset involves people who know how not to assume about anything, but how to have conversations. We also don't go through saga or drama when emotions come up. Of course, emotions come up, we welcome them. We don't feel that there's this need of giving us a star for it. I have seen attachment coaches, personal development coaches, so people who talk about how it is, of course, normal for you to grieve, but some of us, we have a window of welcome for emotions. And so when we hear this, it's normal to grieve, it's like, well, is it heavy or weighing you down? Because some of us have what is that window of welcome. Okay, so when we have emotions, we're not like, what's going on? And that's why it's not something big or small. It's more of, that's part of life, right? So when you're comfortable completely with all emotions, you don't talk about the depths of experiencing them as if something devastating happened. Okay, so that's not of all people, obviously. It depends if you maintained the restorative embodiment. And so if you were able to not separate from that oneness, mammalian heritage, there's a lot of different ways that the lovely trauma experts that I learned from call it, but restorative embodiment, self-awareness. And I'm just going to call it bilateral integration and having self-awareness and emotional awareness. And so you just keep on using those pillars of the mind, focused attention, awareness, and kind intention. I learned from Jesus about kind intention and God and being humble, and so having compersion. Okay, and so here's why with twin flame and flames and soulmates, it's always been a choice point. So intuitively, a divine feminine will know who her oversoul is. And I knew even when I was a young teenager that I was very lucky, because all of my friends, family, lovers, all of that, all really great. And that's because I could feel here that they were part of my long-term journey. Like I could feel, and still do, those who are like a colleague type. So you'll meet some people from your oversoul that are like colleagues, and you learn things from each other. Then you will meet also those who are, for example, friends for a season. And then there are those who will come in and out, because you'll match for a little bit, then you'll mismatch, quote unquote, meaning you do different things and you come back together. And that's basically family. So with your oversoul, intuitively, a divine feminine doesn't have any concern or like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose people because I'm on my spirituality journey or I got Kundalini awakening. No, intuitively, we know we don't lose people. We know we gain people. And we also know we love more, not less, because life is easy, because love is easy. So as long as there's no physical threat, everything's easy. Okay, and so intuitively speaking, divine feminine will not have a hard time with meeting twin flame or flames, but that's because the 5D mystic will already know her mission. She's not on Elsa's journey looking for her whole 3-year-old heart. She's already home and with a 1-year-old. Okay, so intuition and fantasy. We talked about that difference that I found this one lovely video. And here's where with our oversoul, so besides twin flames, you have soulmates. And it's really fun when you meet soulmates because they are of a different caliber. And typically you will find that there are things that you support each other on, and you'll notice that. And so they expand that which you are. Twin flames, they expand what you are, but by giving you more food for thought. That's how I like to put it, because you expand consciousness. So they are the ones who challenge how you're thinking about something. So like with my twin flames, I got to move beyond loving one person and moving into the polyamory group. I got to also realize that there's more than one special bond. So that non-conventional friendship, which is where you move into expanding relationships. And also because they're twin flames, that means that you consistently perceive them. Although once a piece of consciousness from your oversoul achieves where they want to be, this is where it gets really fun. So again, intuitively, you'll be able to pick up on when things are taking place, and you'll be in touch with each other, because that's what happens. You build secure connections. So nobody needs to cut cords. In fact, this whole blocking, unblocking, or friending, unfriending, and essentially the way they describe that you have to go through a certain number of stages for twin flames, again, creating, mathematical equation out of people, and people are unpredictable. So relationships are based on the two individuals. In fact, I am a firm believer that any of two people or more can always communicate, because that's why we have a mouth, and that's why we also have that free will choice. However, there are those who get really, afraid, and that's the part of where if they know their trauma and their attachment category, that would help them. That helps any person to know, okay, so I'm self-soothing by withdrawing. I don't really want to do that. I want to be a consistent, contingent communicator, so I want to try to get on board with secure attachment. That's what people who will uncover that they can do that, and that they're not a securely attached person, they will do. They won't be like, you know what, I'm just going to keep my self-loathing and heartbreak and gut wrench and whatever it is that's coming up from my not secure attachment, because, the therapist said I'm doing an okay job, so we're all fucked up. No, having an attachment not secure is not fucked up. It's your first year of life, you didn't get secure attachment. So you can return home to your actual mammalian heritage. You don't have to. Okay, so the part about fucked up, it's like this lame excuse in the opinion of a person who knows that anyone who wants to do the work. Now, let me spell this one out though. The work is really hard. I don't know it because I have secure attachment. And I also don't have childhood trauma. So that's why for me, it's easy to talk about emotions. But I've met people who they say, you don't know human suffering, Maria, so, you should really leave it alone. And I've met people who have gone and continue to go to therapy and do personal development, and they still find being vulnerable really, really hard. That's why we have a 5D collective. Because, see, we don't go with a script and say, oh, let me go and say the right things and have this relationship have to work. It sounds almost like you're going to a therapy session, which is not what relationships are about. They're about being genuine and authentic, not to mention that it's the other person, if they want to be on a journey, that they will come and talk to you about what their attachment category is, or what their diagnosis is, and how they're working with a good therapist. So we treat people like people, not trying to be their parent, or parents not trying to tell them what to do. So you're not going to be their therapist or not therapist. Okay, I talk a lot about attachment trauma and mysticism when I'm out and about, but not because I'm trying to make people do it. It's just those are the subject matters that I'm interested in and what I experience. Some people do think that I want to play therapist or that I'm analyzing. They've told it to me. I say, no, these are the subject matters I look into. They're my work. They're what I love to learn about. So yeah, I have, a specific number of things that I look into, don't you? Okay, and so that's where we talk about the subject matters that are of interest. But long story short, intuitively, we, the divine feminine, will know when we're expanding consciousness with someone, because there'll be an energetic vibe that happens. There'll be a tangle, there'll be a lot of things that accompany us. So twin flames and soulmates, not just twin flames. This is why all of our relationships are equally of value, importance, and that's because you're you, I'm me. Nobody can replace you. So this is the part of our polyamory secure community. We already know that you're worthwhile and I'm worthwhile. There's not a replica. So we unconditionally love each other with our own flaws and imperfections, and we always communicate with love, compassion and directness. Tune in.